Hey folks, Paul here. Let's try and get the middle-ish. Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's gone the wrong way. That's better. Okay, so lots been happening. What's been happening? First thing is my laptop, which is fairly old, decided it was time to not retire itself, but retire itself from editing videos. So I went out, brought another laptop when funds said I could, and here we are. What else? My bedroom, our bedroom, her indoors, mustn't forget her, how could I, is, I don't know if I can preparing for imminent birth of our baby son. I say imminent, middle of April, or if he decides to pop out in the middle of April. So there's stuff everywhere. So actually I've been a little bit busy. I've had my orders, clean out the garage, get rid of all your crap, you know, the normal stuff we do, but I've got myself sorted. And today, what are we going to look at today? That's a very good question. Today I have something from TW. Oh, I know a lot of people are you know, TW, blah blah blah. But anyway, $5.99, and it is the Odyssey Atomizer Kit RCS. It's a rebuildable even, sort of cartomizer looking affair. Inside it uses one of these. Oh, you can't see that very well, but it's well, when we go down for a closer look, we shall see what it's all about. So what do I think? I have it here on top of the elevator. Now it's in the Odyssey tank. Also, that is an issue, but we'll see in the close-ups anyway. It's XL length carto size, so XL length carto tank, but the holes are very, very low in the base of the atomizer itself. So if you've got a thicker deck, anything normal, like, you know, like that sort of deck size, your holes aren't gonna come out, so you'll get no juice flow. But let's take a vape and see what she performs like. Pretty good. I've got to be honest, I was surprised. I thought it was gonna be awful, but that's cotton with a mini coil. It's not micro because it's 2mm. Depends on what your definition of micro is, really. It's a small coil. It's 1.4, 1.5 ohm. I've got that at 11 watts, so it's putting about 4 volts through it. A little bit high, perhaps, but it's vaping quite well. Another thing, another thing. This really does rely on underneath airflow. On the elevator, on my elevator, it has a nice hole which draws air up and through. If I put it on something like my Vapor Shark, awesome. Again, I'm a bit of a regulated boy at the moment. Don't know why, I just really like DNA 20. Again, 11 watts. Okay, that really tightens the drawer up. Now this has got air holes. Sorry, air slots cut into it, but really much tighter drawer. So that is a bit of a downside with it, I must admit. But as you can see, it's got the normal obligatory holes in the 510 connector, like normal, like your Pro Tanks, your EVODs, which is fine in the elevator. But in the, what about the, let's try the, I'll tell you what we'll try as I've got it here. Let's try the MVP, just see what happens. Okay, so as per usual with the MPV, this has got a deep 510 connector, so it's not making connection. I'll need to pull that out a little bit, which I'm not going to do at the moment. So yeah, it definitely needs good airflow from underneath. Otherwise you really do tighten the drawer up. Let's put that down to 10. Whoop. See how she performs. 11 watts, 1.4. Maybe I'm pushing my luck there, but yeah, still very good. Really, it's surprisingly a good vape. Now I have a Sophia. What's it like compared to the Sophia? Nah, it's not as good as the Sophia. But the difference is that's $5.99. I think that's, I can't remember, £60. So there's a big difference in the price. For $5.99 though, if you're prepared to change the wicks, you know, change out the standard wick. The standard wick comes in, it's silica. It's got the same affair as a Pro Tanks, except for it has little tails out of it. For me, no, no. So I changed it for cotton, and it's really nice vape, without a doubt. So let's go down, get it apart, have a look, and see what we think. Okay, so here we go. What do we get? You get this little box, Totally Wicked Odyssey atomizer kit, RCS replacement coil system, and then in your box you get the atomizer thingy itself and a spare head. So let's dispense with that. Oh, and a small sort of instruction sheet, which is okay, I suppose. So now there are a couple of things that are a downfall with this. One of them, and the main one, is, I don't know if you can see the holes. Yeah, so there's one, there's two. They are monsters. Don't ask me how big, but they are big. It's flanged, so you'll need some sort of description of flange tank. It's XL Carto size, so XL Carto tank, but here's where it falls over, because if you look carefully, I don't know if you can see that on camera, I'm sure you can, the holes actually, when you put the tank in, they get covered because of the thickness of the tank. If I dare get this in, because I got this and went, yeah, like the look of it, I'll have a go. So we're right in here, as you can see, no holes, so it won't wick any liquid. Crafty bar stewards. So unfortunately I haven't got another tank with a shallower deck, I suppose you'd call it, you know, the bottom bit of the carto. So I went and brought their Odyssey tank, which I've got to say actually isn't too bad, except for that bit of a shame, but yeah, right. They like to, I suppose any manufacturer does, doesn't they? They like their logos splattered everywhere. And as you can maybe able to see, it's really thin walled down the bottom, which means that the holes are exposed. So it, you know, it makes it, the holes are exposed inside. When you put them in, liquid can get into the holes themselves. So if that makes sense, I've only got a Mickey Mouse tape, but it's something like maybe 3mm, something like 3mm. Yeah, around about sorry, it's around about 3mm, the actual thickness of that bottom piece, as it were. This one is nearer to 10, in fact, I think. So like I say, your normal tanks, this is going to be a no-no, which would be most distressing, like something like a scuba, probably a salt and pepper, or any normal DTC tank, even flanged ends. There won't be enough. Sorry, they'll be too deep that you won't actually be able to use this. How unfortunate. And it's a bit of a shame, because I've had some really good results with this, I can say. So let's, you've got a little bit of Odyssey RCD. I don't know if the camera will pick that up down the middle of it, and probably somewhere you've got their little face logo actually on it. So let's get this apart. Unscrews, a juicy mess. And there you have the head itself, which is pretty normal sort of pro tank type affair, really. You've got a small washer up here, and then this unscrews, leaving you that. The top piece comes off, leaving you that type of affair with the coil inside. The pin comes out. Your little rubber grommet comes out. Then you can get to your lovely coil you've built. give that a clean off. So, like all good Boy Scouts, here's one I prepared earlier. So this is 28 gauge, 7 or 8 wraps, I can't remember, around a 2mm drill bit. This is just for me. So obviously whatever resistance you want, you'll know. So we're going to use a micro coil and cotton, or a mini coil if you don't want, if you say it's got to be under whatever. So now one thing I have noticed is the depth of that there is quite deep, so you have to keep your coil quite low, otherwise when you attach, you get a short, it'll touch the coil. So you have to keep your coil fairly low in the deck, in this piece here. Well, that's how it's worked out for me anyway. So I get one, centre leg up the much like your Pro Tanks Kangas. In you go. Check your coil, again that's rows up, so we're going to have to pull that down a little bit, deeper the better, but obviously not too deep that you're going to be trapping off, touching the bottom with both the coils. Okay, so make sure you haven't got any shorts or anything funny like that. Put in your little leg bit, look again, make sure you're happy with that, looks okay. Get your trusty snippers, I should mention stock heads. I really didn't like the stock head. It's the same affair again as your Pro Tanks, EVODs and such. Has the wick, then the wick runs out, very similar to this, but you have one wick and then on top of it you have flavour wick or anti-flooding wick, whatever you'd like to call it, sitting across the top. I just didn't like them. I didn't even bother. I looked at them, took it apart, looked at the coil. It might be okay, but that's just me being me. I didn't even bother trying, so I've gone straight in with the micro coil and cotton, or mini coil if you want to call it that. Hopefully that's okay. Just gonna make sure that's okay oops, sorry, off the camera again. Right, let's put that into there. Make sure you're right. Yep. Let's screw that on. Yep. Okay. Get your little chimney, I suppose, for want of a word. I'll just get my ohms reader. Let's see what we got. Okay, 1.5. That's perfect for me. So what I now do, you're there, looks good. Have a look at your little pin, make sure, yeah, looks good. Okay, so what I generally do now is trim up these wicks a little bit. I'm going to leave around about whatever that much is. I'm going to leave around about wherever that much is. Yep, that will suffice. I'm going to put my thumb like that. That's going to do. Now what I generally do now, give those wicks a little bit of a prime. Now I'm going to be honest, I have had some issues with this, flooding particularly, which, considering I use VG, full VG all the time, it could be an issue with a lower dose, but not all the time. If I leave it for, say, I don't know, say I put it on the side and vape something else for a while, a day, come back, and sometimes it can be flooded. There you go, nicely soaked up. Going to twist my wicks like that. Screw that onto there. And there it is. The Odyssey RCS. Whoops. Give that another quick range check, make sure it hasn't done one. 1.5. Still good. And then in your, again, this is their tank as well for the Odyssey. In we go. In we go. And there it is. And the filling's much the same as I mean, you can buy some filler thing I've seen on their site, put it in, fill your tank, but you can fill it the same old any other way. Put your needle in down the side, fill up, and there you go, that's full. So like I say, the biggest issue for me is if you've got deep caps, your holes won't come out inside the tank, so it won't wick. This has a particularly thin deck. It doesn't come apart, as it were, if you know what I mean. Or you can't, or I haven't taken it apart anyway. The tank itself, it's one piece, so it's a thin here, which means the holes are exposed inside the chamber, so it wicks. In this, the holes are not exposed inside the chamber, which is a bit of a shame, because you'd like to be able to use it in other tank systems. Now I'm not saying there aren't any out there that you can use it in, but the ones I've got, definitely not. So what we'll do is, I'll tidy up, I'll come out, I'll fill it up, and we'll go from there. Right, so that was the uppy closey bit. Like I say, there are some flaws. The airflow having to come up from underneath. When you put on some mods, it really does tighten up the draw too much for me. It has a medium draw on the elevator. It's not a massive airy draw. I don't find it airy. Medium to openish, not well open. You have to have a specific tank, which is a bit of a letdown. But I quite like this tank. In fact, it's all right. It's pretty nice, like I say, except for the logo on the top. But there you go. But yeah, the tank's okay. But again, it has to have a thin section, base section. It's a flanged unit, so you'll need. Well, you won't need, but it looks better in a flanged. Underneath. So if you're trying to use your normal Carto tank, which generally the ones I have are, they've got thicker bases. Here, the base is thick. Your holes aren't going to protrude into the chamber, and obviously you're not going to wick any juice. Now the two holes are massive, and to be fair, I have had flooding issues. Definitely. Let's have a quick. A couple of times I've had flooding issues. Nothing too bad, you know. But this one seems to be okay. I've tried it with res, no res wire as well, because I use a thinner no res wire, which is makes it just easier. You know, when you're clipping off the negative and the positive terminals. I did find it easier. Again, you don't have to. It's no problem using the thicker wire. Seems to have come out all right. So yeah, to be honest, let's move on to then. Yeah, it's not bad. So flavour, yeah, I'm getting good flavour. This is VG goose juice. Getting nice flavour out of it. Vapour, yeah, the vapour's good. Again, that's down to 10 watts, but still you get plenty of vapour. Loads of vapour. Nice thump in the back of the throat, 18 milligram strength. So yes, a nice bit of kit. Well, you know, for the money. I mean, like I say, it's $5.99 for a rebuildable little bit of kit. That's not bad at all. So brilliant. So what else have I got? Now what I've got coming, what I'm really looking forward to mid-April somewhere, is of course a baby. How scary, a baby! Oh my god, what am I going to do? But anyway, I also have the General DNA 30 from Freight Train Mods coming. How expensive, but I really like pipes, and that does look the ultimate pipe for me. Obviously it won't be to everybody's taste because it's a big unit, 18650 DNA 30, so I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, I hope I haven't made too much of an arse of myself again, and I'm looking forward to the General. But like I say, for $5.99, that's not too bad, you know. Can't complain. Again, nice vape. Just a few niggles, the air holes, the thickness of the tank, and the fact you definitely need air draw from underneath to get a nicer vape, or I have found personally. That's just my personal views. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Cheers, bye.